Dane, really want to say thank you so much for joining the call, and I'm so stoked
Yeah. Oh
to
man.
make it happen. I'm stoked to have your board. Would you be able to tell us more about yourself and your connection to Channel Islands?
Of course. Yeah. I'm Dane Gudauskas, lifelong surfer. Just love being in the ocean, sharing it, riding any kind of waves that are out there, and really keeping an open mind to equipment and being around people who see the waves in the same kind of open-minded perspective, which oftentimes leads you to hanging out with people riding different stuff and approaching the wave in their own unique way. And ultimately that has shaped the way that we've seen our surfing, approach over the years. And it's exciting. Channel Islands has been fantastic. We've been together with them since we were 14 years old. So got to shape with Al Merrick back in the day, go up to Santa Barbara, and he used to have this little shaping bay. It was so cool. And just see the brand grow. It's just been a real treat. And their support has been, something that we're so grateful for. And the idea for the G Skate came along just in that us wanting to find something different, something fresh for us to ride. Something that went fast. The boys, Patrick and Tanner, they stopped competing. They were going on different trips and looking for different feelings in their surfing. So we wanted to kind of break away from just the traditional thruster and the shortboard that we generally would usually ride. So yeah, that kind of led us down this path of the G Skate. We were playing around with some twin fin options, different setups, even a thruster, but the twin trailer combo that we decided on is just something that we feel like offers the most speed mixed in with the highest level of performance, right? You have a little bit more stability, you have a little more drive, and you can get kind of a nice round radius in your turns. So that was intentional, the way that it ended up. And working with Britt was just so awesome because, I'm pretty free thinking, and I would come to him with crazy ideas, and many of them didn't work, but they led us down a path where every iteration in the board design just kind of kept getting more refined. And I feel like we landed in a great spot. So, I mean, the proof's in the pudding when you see footage of yourself in waves that, are on the other side of the country in different conditions that we surf, and it's functioning well, and it's putting a smile on your face. And if we can do that for people buying surfboards, then I feel fulfilled. It's a good feeling.
It's meant for kind of like a small waves. The first demo tapes came out like from Hawaii, and then it's not small at all. Like it's like a well overhead in some ways. So my question is like, what are the shittiest waves you surf on the G Skate? Like, and where, like in terms of like geographically, like that.
I would say California has some pretty gutless waves. It's different than the East Coast. East Coast seems a little bit more like hollow. It can be kind of crunchy, a little bit more. I've surfed all around the East Coast, and so I'm familiar with kind of, sometimes it can be gutless, but when it's got some juice, it's got a nice power base. But I mean, we've surfed California in so many days that are, marginal at best, and that stuff oftentimes doesn't get filmed because it's pretty gutless. But that's what we wanted. That's what we surfed most days. And really just having that daily driver in your back pocket that makes you happy to go surf, or not frustrated. Maybe not happy, but maybe just not frustrated. I think it's a different piece of equipment that gets you there. So yeah, I mean, but then all of a sudden, like you said, we were in Hawaii, and it was just a certain time frame that we had to film that piece for the release of the model. And we were going to be in Hawaii for that time. And, we wanted it small. We were hoping for a little Rocky Point, and it just the forecast was just huge. We're like, hey guys, we're getting a bunch of footage, but the waves are huge. And so that was what we ended up making. And every film afterwards has been like trying to kind of downgrade the swell size. So, but it works great. I'm proud to say it works fantastic in tubes, and proud to say it works great in bigger waves. And it should, if you look at the theory behind it, it should hold in. That's what the intention was, to turn hard and trust your lines. and have good paddle power. So it's not like it didn't blow my mind that it worked. It just was an amazing, awesome convenience that it worked well with swell. So.
Yeah, that was so impressive. And I think after I saw the first clips, and I was like, oh my god, this board, if it works in big stuff, like and small stuff, that's a really good board that to have. It's like a Swiss Army knife.
Clips that you sent me, the spectrum of size is pretty big range of wave size that you're approaching here, from overhead tubes to kind of gutless little knee-high things. And what I really like to look at when I'm looking at footage, or just myself surfing or others, just the way the the board's sitting on the water, and the way it's kind of, if there's a lot of turbulence or fluttering or weird stuff. And just initially watching some of your clips back here, and I know we'll get into it later in the show, I was impressed at the way the board was sitting on the water in the bigger stuff, even with wind. Is that a spine tech that you're riding, or is that a PU?
Just a PU. Kind of curious, like how the spine tech would work for gutless waves, probably better in that way.
Spine techs, I mean, I think they're fantastic. Personally, I have a lot, especially if they're kind of shorter board designs. I remember with the Rocket Wide, I got to a point where I kind of almost exclusively was riding spine techs. I just really preferred the pop and the natural feel of them. It's an EPS. It's got a carbon fiber kind of routed out stringer on the deck and a couple strips up the back. But it's a natural feel. A lot of stringered epoxies can kind of give you that like like kind of stiffness and weird kind of it would throw me off when I was surfing. But for this, I mean, even for the G skate, how I'm looking at it now is I'm pretty much 75% on spine techs. Obviously I don't want it to get too big for the spine tech. I think if you're going to approach a pretty wide spectrum of wave size, I think I would still recommend the PU, but yeah, for small waves, I think it's an incredible lift.
Wow. Yeah. Maybe I need
you
should
board.
I need that.
Maybe next
spine tech one. Have you ever tried like a bigger version? Like I would say like a 6'2", 6'4" version of the G skate.
The sizing with the G skates is interesting because I feel like in everyone's relationship with the board, there's oftentimes like a sweet spot where the size really matches and people find that success with it. So I really encourage people to go to demo tours that Channel Islands puts on and try the boards, because there is kind of a difference. The original board that we landed on was a 5'6", and that was tested by all three of us. And so basically 5'6" was like the magic kind of sweet spot for us. And I weigh about 180 to 185 and about 6 foot 5'11". So yeah, that's a little bit of a shorter board. But I mean, in this last recent Europe demo tapes film that we just did with CI, I was riding 6'2", 6'0", 5'8", and they were just stock dims. I really wanted to feel that kind of sense of glide and feeling like maybe there could be a little bit of a mini mid-length experience or mini egg. And I freaking loved it, man. It was
really
so good. I was like, wow. And really, if you are playing in longer rail lines and you want to be interested in that stuff, I found success with riding it as a twin fin for that. But the paddling was like unparalleled, and it felt incredible in the tube. I actually came back and talked to the crew and was like, hey, I want to make a barrel board, kind of like just a hair, like that was stocked in, so off the rack, and it was big. But if I pulled the rails down a little bit, so I think it's a lot of potential to ride it in many different lengths. But yeah, have you heard, are people playing around with it?
I do get the DMs from people, like, my followers, and they would, mostly like positive feedback. When I posted my, I think, second episode in 1 to 2 foot waves, like East Coast, I did mention, the guys, like, don't expect to be like a full-on graveler, like, just for a week, like 1 foot swell or something. You need at least some wind swell with a little bit of face, so to keep going. If it's like 6-second period, like very short, you want to have a little size. It's not going to replace your mini C-MONSTA in that way. It's still a high performance board in that way, but it just has this kind of like a wide point forward with a wider nose. have a little more surface that will help you to get in like really easy into waves. And I took it out on that very kind of messy day, and I was like, damn, this, it was just like very like steep, like compared to California waves, like this, like you have no time to think, you gotta just like go. And yeah, it just like worked amazing, and I was like, wow, that's great. Kind of the board for more advanced beginners, like who already passed this steps popping up, and knowing like where to be to catch the waves in general.
That's probably a good way to look at it, I think. Kind of like an advanced beginner position where, you have your fundamentals down, you kind of know what you're trying to kind of get out of the ride. And for sure, I mean, if you look at just the surface area on the tail block, how pulled in it is, it's definitely different than a wide surface area, like you said, like a mini Simmons or something like that. That would just give you that real wide surface area to basically just stand on if it's really gutless. But it was like we wanted to still surf at a high level when you had the speed and you wanted to commit. And so that's kind of how we ended up kind of carving away at the original that we were working with. But that's really feedback. I mean, yeah, I think everyone's got their own path with it, but it is so cool that it is pretty diverse. But I definitely think it's, it's probably not like the ultimate choice for tiny little things, right? Like you said, like you probably on like a mid-length, or maybe even, like you said, a fish or something wide, but I think it's pretty versatile. So
I think it also depends on your skill level too, and what you want from surfing, like small waves. Like some people, they just want a longer ride, just like cruise and down the line on the fish or wherever. Some people, they're happy just take off, do one quick turn, snap, and then done. They're happy. So I did take the G skate even like in the worst possible. I haven't posted those videos like when it was like 1 foot, very mushy, and I wanted to see how low I can go, and it did work. Like for one turn, like I pop up, bottom turn, boom. Yeah, it's there's always trade-off in all board designs and in models.
If it matches your intentions as well, right? Like if you're feeling like today I want to go just cruise and trim and flow, maybe there's a board that would accommodate that better. But it's so, boards are such a personal connection to them, and each one's different, and it is so special when you resonate with it. And I've been just so impressed seeing the variety that you're attacking it with, and it's cool, man. That's surfing is the best. It's something that's it's just so wonderful, and I love it, and I love talking about it. I love I just surfing boards. I mean, shoot, we live for it. So
what was your board before G-Skate for smaller days? And
I was definitely riding the Rocket Wide, which was a model that I worked with CI for quite some time, and that board was just a beautiful outline. It came from the original Rocket 9, which I had made with Mike Andrews, and that was similar to the G-Skate, wide point forward, pulled in tail, but kind of a pointy nose and just a really interesting kind of shape. I don't think it was very versatile. It was just fascinating. I just really wanted to deviate from what I was doing, and I wanted something fresh and just totally trip myself out and start to grow in that way. And then we ended up cutting a couple inches off the tail block of the Rocket 9, as well as an inch off the nose, kind of lowering the rocker profile and getting more width on it. And the outline just was so beautiful. Like to me, it's one of the most beautiful outlines I've seen. And it just was beautiful. It was like something that was just amazing. And the board worked really well. I was playing with channels and forefins and spine tacks, and it just was well suited. So that's what I came from. But it was fun with the G-Skate because I was collaborating with Patrick and Tanner on it, as opposed to just an individual pursuit. And so it was like a really great to have their feedback. I mean, those guys demand boards that work well. I mean, they're, coming off the tour, they surf a little bit you know, like electrifying, you know, and in a way that was, you know, they wanted to get above the lip and they wanted to bash the fins out over the top of it and do crazy stuff. And I'm more traditional on the face. And so to have that fusion was amazing. You know, so you had to make sure the board was super high functioning, and for them to get into a mindset of going for something like the G-skate was different than what they had been riding. So it was a great process. You know, they came from more of, I think, like the happy everyday kind of style, or maybe cut down fevers. There was a model from Channel Islands called the Whip that was a really great board. But, you know, I think over the last couple of years, we've all been pretty exposed to a wide variety of shapes, from, you know, classic fishes and hanging out in surf shops and checking out, you know, some of the pieces that have come together over the history of surfboard design. So, yeah, that all of those things led to what you see, you know.
That's amazing. This Ferrari basically behind me.
Yeah, it's a bit of it is a Ferrari. Are you going to share the screen? Oh, cool. Wow, dude. Yes.
So this is today.
Wow.
I had the vision. Question. I'm kind of in the past few months, I started focusing more on like working on barrel riding, like getting ready for those some days, and working on the small days and setting a line and things like that. And I kind of train muscle memory.
Totally, 100%.
Wanted to know like your maybe some tips, like what could have done better maybe on the wave.
Well, I mean, look at your entry, looks great. I mean, the board looks like it's getting you in early. You're able to set the line and flow, and right there start driving off your toe edge. One thing I noticed is it looks like your weight is a little forward. Like, see, your hands and head is above in front of the front foot. So it looks like you're kind of reaching for the exit. And I remember this pretty clearly in my tube journey, is right here, you're feeling all the momentum. You want to go out forward, but really at that moment, it's time to lock in over your back foot and kind of square your body off to the face of the wave, and kind of have like a nice this? Yes. And so it's almost, someone described it to me as you want to like pull back an arrow, right? So you're like this. This is a classic. So you want to open the chest up and be kind of squared off to the wave, and then always looking with your eyes to the top corner of the wave, to the tube. So like you're in the barrel, you want to be looking up here, you know? So like your eyes really are important. So like right here, you know, and I've had this so many times. I've done this so many times. You're looking down, right? Like you're kind of looking maybe towards your hands, it looks like, or maybe trying to look up, and you got the hood on. Really important to keep your vision up, your neck up, and looking out to the top corner of that barrel. And I swear it's going to be those combination of things will get you right on it.
Should have I made some like kind of like an extra pump to be able to get out of this wave, kind of, I don't know, knife it through?
I think you did really well there, Yuri, and I think it's your posture and your balance to me. And it sounds counterintuitive, right? Because I'll let my dog back in. But it sounds counterintuitive because you're more upright, you know, like you're not crouched down in a tiny little ball. And so, but I think like a balancing with your bending your knees and then kind of opening your chest up and looking where you want to go. And I think, yes, the pumps will come, but really you'll flow with the power of the wave because you're kind of connected to the right angle of the wave face. So, so to me, that seems like a pretty, you know, straightforward place to improve in that line.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Well, now I have something else to work on.
Dude, now you're going to be charging. You're ready for the next swell. You're packing it.
It's coming next week. Maybe we'll see.
But your positioning was great. I mean, everything was well done. Your paddling was awesome. Your pop-up was so clean. I mean, look at this awesome connection right here. Like front foot up, bam, landing gear on. You're doing all the right stuff right here. it just becomes your posture at this point that will kind of help lock you in, I guess.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Going to wave number 2. This is like a very small wave. And over here, it's just like a small shampoo sections.
Dude, sick.
I want.
Oh, there you go. Oh.
Just something about terms. Like, is it that's what you would probably do? What do you think? If you would
Like,
if you would serve this wave?
You can hear.
Yeah.
You hear my dog? Funny. She's a collie and she sings all the time. I'm like, dude,
that's so nice.
She's singing the opera right now. Sorry about that. I gotta move to the other room. It's so funny, man. She's having the time of her life, but she's yodels like a little, like funniest little creature. So okay, so let's break it down. But see, even in this one, like your stance, I'd say, is a little bit more balanced, like the weight between your back and front foot. Even though you're facing kind of down. But you can kind of see just the way that the board's hitting the trim spot. Like there looks like there's more weight on your back foot, which I think is valuable. I mean, I try to get barreled at least once a session, even if it's only 1 to 2 foot whitewaters, and that entails putting my head in whitewater.
Other one, let's go this little pump. And
so what I'm noticing, Yuri, is you're doing a great job of meeting the lip and then being weightless. And then as you're going down, you're gaining momentum and you're getting weight back on over your feet. Like you're doing a great job right here. You're hitting it and then you're letting the wave kind of go, but see how you're getting low and compressing and your arms are all going with the momentum. Like that was really well done. I mean, especially with the waves like that, it's tricky, huh?
Yeah, it's a small waves. Yeah, a little tiny like mistake that will cause you like the wave already because it's lack of power already. And
yeah, I know. East Coast, it's a different animal, but it looks fun, man. Is this yesterday again?
No, this morning. This afternoon.
Gosh. Yes, Yuri. Yes,
I just
Yuri.
lost.
Oh, brother, that was so cool. Dude, hold on, can we watch that again? That got me all frothed up. Oh man. So what did you notice here? What were you noticing just watching this after our conversation?
I think after spending more time, I started to trust the rail, like the board, like because I cannot see anything already. I see the board already like kind of right on the top. It's more almost like a airborne kind of way. And then I started to trust more like and trust my stance and just relax. I used to be like I used to freak out before. Like, oh my God, like this, I'm not connected with the face of the wave. Now I let the board drop and then kind of start to, kind of set the rail. I think that's how
yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you're kind of like in the barrel right here, but you see how you're still locking in your back foot. You see all that, all of that pressure you're putting on your toe. And then even your posture is a little bit more open. And dude, you're getting spit right there. Like, this is so cool. I wish I was getting that kind of wave this morning.
Yeah, you're definitely.
That's well done, Yuri. Well done.
Thank you. All right, so thanks. Thank you. Wave number 5.
Okay, number 5, little speed burst. So right there, that
and it claims.
So you see that pump? Can we look back on it? There was like that. You did this pump, and the way that you accelerated, that right there is the benefit of the twin trailer design. You get this real free burst of speed. Like right here, it's not a huge pump, but boom, you're accelerating and you get that drive. It's such an interesting sensation that I mean, we've fallen in love with. I mean, it's difficult to go back to a thruster almost, but do you feel that? Like,
yeah, just a little bit faster.
Yeah, it's just a hair. It's a little more sensitive, a little more responsive.
Yep. Over here, like kind of burst of speed a little bit, like to pass.
And then
this
you got to start stalling.
Yep. This is a bigger day. A week ago.
Wow. Is this all the same? Is this all your local spot?
No, it's in Jersey. I drive like an hour away from here.
Okay.
I usually go to the same spot. It's basically the same spot. Question about this cutback here. I know, sorry for the footage is like very bad. It's from my
No,
solo shot.
dude, I mean, I could watch surfing all day. So yeah. Nice. So yeah, we could break that down if you want to connect on it. I mean, it looks like you did all of the work to get off the bottom in a beautiful way. You have speed, your angle of approach is nice. You can tell that you're kind of already, like your right hand is already kind of full extension here. And, ideally, you could slow it as you're approaching the wave, like the top of the wave, like you were kind of entering the turn and it was here, maybe. So like kind of elongating it off the bottom so that it's a little bit more delayed. So there's more of an intention to use this back arm. You'll notice, see how it kind of stops like right there.
Stops,
moving.
yeah, stops.
So really trying to use that right hand of yours to carry you down the wave face. And so that's really going to anchor your turn. It's going to turn your shoulders, your chest, and then collapsing over your knees and really just kind of driving back down. So really that, when I'm looking at what you're doing, it's the right position, but it's a little early. You're shooting it a little early. So if you can kind of just stay open to it and then try to drive it through the second part of the turn, it'll really lock you in. And really the lower the arm, the more your core is going to be locked in on the turn and the whole experience. Sometimes when it gets out here, things can be a little bit separated and kind of bobble. So just for you to think about, even because you surf skate, right? You do the surfing skating?
Not in the ball, just like on the flats. I'm like,
well, that's a perfect place to practice it. You can really, try to, it's almost like Tai Chi or something, like, or, it's just like, it's all one motion, and really trying to keep it super smooth, like the whole thing that's the secret, and it's
now I got it. I think it's when the waves start to get a little bit bigger, the canvas is expanding. You need to delay that the arm, like the swinging a little bit more, because I still
you're
like
doing all the right stuff to get there.
I still surf it like thinking it's like a smaller wave, and then I kind of run out of that momentum when I hit the top. Now, wow, that's great. Thank you. And how about the last section?
Let's see. Boom. Yeah, I mean, your technique is right there, Yuri. I mean, you're able to kind of like come down with the lip and utilize the momentum. Right here, I mean, geez, you're battling the wind, there's chop. You're able to reset and get over the back foot. A lot of it is that the weight, like using your weight on and then knowing when to pull off. And you have a nice connection with that relationship, right? Like knowing when to stay off it, like going up to the snap like this is weight off. And then once you make connection with the lip, it's like following it back down, like chasing the energy back down. So like that was well done. I mean,
thank you.
Yeah. It's tricky when the winds it's soft. You have to almost anticipate that and go a little earlier than you think. So well done. I mean, geez, wow, what is this wave going on? This is insane. What? Oh man. Nice, dude. Yes, you see right there what your back arm, it was a little you were able to rotate and open your chest up with the turn. That was nice. You see that whole little thing right there? It's a little bit later. Like
okay.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Man. Great one.
Thank you. This is like that chilly day, I think a few days ago. Just a quick.
Yeah. Oh, dude, yes.
Trying to do the best out of nothing.
Wow, so definitely those are different days than the previous
Different,
ones.
yeah. This is like very mushy. I mean, here I tried to see if I could get a little bit like shampoo section. I just got the foam to my face.
So awesome. Your passion for the shampoo. I mean, that's how you learn. I mean, I remember that so much in my journey of writing barrels. It was just like pull into everything and try and practice and learn how to fall, learn how to approach. And like right there, like even you're more squared up. Like I know it probably like you are, I can see the subtle adjustments that you're making and see how your right hand's coming across. That's good too. Like feeling the wave face is so good.
Would have been probably better if I would stay lower a little bit, drop my back.
Yeah, I mean, you can, bending your knees is forever a great thing, It's like those are your springs. But dude, you just got barreled on like a, whatever kind of little windy, sloppy little jam sesh, but that's gotta feel good any way you do it. I mean, but you see how when your chest is, you're closing, and even by feeling the wave face, it's you're positioning yourself in a way that when your shoulders are matched up with the stringer of your board, it's just way more cohesive than open and down. And then oftentimes you start tracking out of the barrel, always thinking, looking up to the top corner, opening up the arrow and shooting it up the corner. It's going to go a long ways,
And I think it's because you will have also like, you will take less space in the barrel so that you can hit, I guess, right? So the lid will not hit your shoulder to smack you.
Yeah, dude, I know.
Okay, well, it's
dodging everything in there. It's so special. Once you start feeling that connection, you're balanced, over your right foot, left foot combo. You want to be right over your feet and just locked in. And then you can start making subtle adjustments, but really focusing on the form, what it feels like to lock in and trust the line, aim for the top. I mean, you can make 90% of the barrels with that,
Question, Dane. So you've been traveling all over the world. Do you think if I would go to Menta White, not now, would I be able to make, with this technique, would I be able to make the barrel over there in like within 7 days?
I think you'd have some great looks at it. I mean, the good thing
not
is
big day, not like maybe shoulder high day or something.
Yeah, honestly, I think it would be great. I think you get the repetition that you need to really just start unlocking it. Every time you do it and practice it, you get more familiar with the feeling of what you're looking for. And even the feeling under your feet, right? Like locking in your back toe edge is super important. And then you'll start developing what it feels like to have a good, strong front foot toe edge. The combination of those two things will really put you on the right way. And when that rail is engaged with the wave face, Indo is just perfect. I mean, it's so consistently perfect. And the waves are very, I don't want to use the word playful, but it's a more approachable experience than going to someplace like Tahiti or Fiji or someplace that's a little more crunchy. Indo just has that perfection to it,
So it's,
yeah.
I would say it's much easier to get barreled in Indo than in New Jersey barrel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some of those days you guys are getting are pretty good, and I love it. You have a sweet spot for Jersey. But watching your journey of you evolving, and obviously following you online, it's awesome. It's great to see that practice and just intention and excitement to pursue it. It translates, gives you results, and you feel that sense of improvement, and then you can ride a lot more waves and get in some situations that you probably were not expecting at the start, but now you can ride in a perfect big blue barrel and just be thrilled. It's a great feeling. You gotta send me photos. I'll be tuning in for you. I'll be like, gotta review that footage.
Well, I think the upcoming trip will be Puerto Rico this winter. It's still not that cold yet, so it's, I would say, 25 degrees outside with wind chill, and the water temperature is still 50, so not too bad. But once it drops to 40, that's when like, all right, I gotta get out.
And well, Puerto Rico is so special too. I mean, warm water always makes things a little bit looser. Your shoulders and yeah, yeah. But you guys are heroes, man. New York, I mean, in the wintertime, that's not for the faint of the heart and faint of heart. And you guys are, it's awesome, man. So keep charging on it. I would love to come back and link in for a G-Skate session with you all together back there. I think it'd be great, especially your community of people online. And, you know, I just appreciate your feedback and your support of the board. It's just been great to see it come together.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, here's my son.
Hey, how's it going? You go out there and surf with your dad?
This is Dane. This is Ivan.
Hey, Ivan.
He's 4.5.
Oh, that's a great age, man. Is he getting out there and getting in the water?
Yeah, only once. We went to the wave pool, Squid and Surf wave pool in New Jersey, and he was charging. Yeah, but hopefully we'll go back. It's like an indoor one wave pool we have here. And that's another option to go get barrel, but they're like tiny. Ivan will get barrel every time.
Sometimes it works out to be just 4 years old.
Yeah.
You get plenty barrels, you know, so, well, that's awesome, man. Well, yeah, well, definitely reach out if you have any other questions at all. And yeah, follow us along, and can't wait to get you in the water, get it all stoked. So
Yep. Stoked. Pure
great.
stoked. Thank you,
guys.
Dave.
See you.
All right, and happy holidays.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.